Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. I'm back, and I'm back with a special one. I'm back with Glenn, and this time something really, really different that we have not been doing. But I just thought about something new. Arsenal debates episode 1. We're gonna be looking at the best Arsenal 11 ever since I started watching Arsenal or hearing about Arsenal, because I started my interaction with Arsenal and football on radio, and I've already told you guys that I started my interaction with Arsenal and football on radio. And Glenn surprisingly also says that he started watching and listening to football, especially Arsenal, around the same time that I did. So probably what is his best 11 ever since probably 2004 until now, and what is my best 11 ever since 2004 and up to now. And we shall also be going for we shall be diving into 5 best signings Arsenal has ever made under Arsene Wenger, Mikel Arteta, and Unai Emery. I think that is that is the time that we have watched Arsenal. So get involved. Let us know whether you're watching this live, we're watching it on replay. Let me know who are your best Arsenal signings since 2004. Best Arsenal signings since 2004, and definitely let me know what is your best Arsenal 11 since 2004. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing very, very good. Obviously, the international break is not the best part of a season. Usually very, very boring trying to watch all these games. But a lot of news from Arsenal recently, and such kind of topics really are interesting to usually just talk about how it is supporting Arsenal here, how it's been, the best players, best memories and all that. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love football debates. I really do love football debates. And I spend much of my time on YouTube actually watching football debates. Maybe it's high time I created one. So let's get into the best Arsenal signings of since 2004. Best 5 signings, my 5 and Glenn's 5. You can also be part of the journey. Let us know who are your best Arsenal signings since 2004 until now. Look, these are opinions. You could love a player, I might not love a player, so keep it respectful, especially people who comment on the replay. I do love your engagement, but please do keep it respectful. It doesn't look, if you go for a player and I don't go for that player, or if I go for a player and you wouldn't have gone for that player, it doesn't really mean that I don't know football or you do not understand football. As simple as that. So Glenn, best 5 signings. I think in the past 10 years, that is when we've seen really Arsenal as because we've been content creators for the past 2 years, but in the past 10 years we've been really vigilant about Arsenal. We've been understanding, and I expect so many names in your best 11 probably to come in the last 10 years. I think mine should as well come in the last 10 years. But let's start off with the best signings, best Arsenal signings since 2004. Who do you go for? Number 1, in position 5.
In position 5, so you want it in order?
Yeah, I mean we could go from. Okay.
Let's just go in order. My 5th position player is Thomas Rosicky. Man, I was doing some research on him for the last 1 week, and the memories. I still remember the best goal I saw. I remember Schweinsteiger from Bayern Munich, former Manchester United player. I remember I saw him scoring a bang of a goal in the 2006 World Cup. That was the first World Cup I really watched. And then like a couple of months later, I saw the same from Rosicky. It was a Champions League game, the good old Champions League days. We were away to Hamburg. I'm also glad, I remember one of your videos you're talking about the old Bundesliga teams that used to be in the Champions League, the Schalkers, and I remembered Hamburg. That's the one I really, really remember. Rosicky in that game, the kind of goal he scored, that was his first Arsenal goal, almost from the middle of the pitch. A very, very good shot. The way he could play from the left side, the way he could play from the right side, he could play as a number 10. Those days, usually the number 10 position wasn't there that much. It usually used to be 4-4-2. But the kind of creativity he had, the kind of shooting technique he had, the kind of free-flowing, that was Wenger ball at its peak. His combination with Kleb, Fabregas, and Flamini in midfield, very, very good. And I did say in that video that 2007, 2008, we won so many games. I think the first game we lost was in December. Yeah, that was Arsenal. The first game we lost was in December, and it was against Middlesbrough. It was a comeback win. We scored. I think they scored like in the 78th minute and 85th minute, and we got like we scored one very, very late on. It was Rosicky who scored that goal as well. But that season was so good for us. It was so good for us. We only lost 3 games that season. The other 2 are United and Chelsea, and both of those games we took the lead and they came from behind. Obviously, Drogba with the 2 Chelsea goals as usual, and I think for United it was Hargreaves and Ronaldo those days. So we were so close to winning the title, and the main 2 reasons for me we didn't win that title that season was because Eduardo picked up the injury.
That injury from Eduardo, yeah.
And someone else was Rosicky. People don't remember Rosicky. Rosicky also missed like 4 months. He got injured like in December and didn't play again like until April. That was another very, very huge blow. So we had to depend on a young Theo Walcott and those kind of players. So Rosicky definitely has to be on that list for me. Very, very good memories. There's a goal he scored against Sunderland. I think that's the second best 1-2 pass goal from Arsenal. The Wilshere one from Giroud, and that's Rosicky one. So Rosicky was a very, very good player for us.
Yeah. So Glenn says, fifth best signing is Thomas Rosicky. I can't disagree. I don't have him in position 5, but I cannot disagree. I think again, one of those players that if you asked me which players would you have injuries, without injuries, again is Thomas Rosicky. I would have him without injuries, because if you put injuries out of his game, the rest could be history. He was class. He was talented. He was a real talent. But look, for me, position 5, my 5th best signing, I'll go with Samuel Nasri. Look, that was a bargain. That was a bargain. Look, by that time, of course, we used to do that. We could sign anyone for less than $1 million. We could sign anyone for less than 5 million, and they work out. So we were the masters of bargains, but that one was a bargain. And what an instant impact he had, because I still remember when we signed him in the summer, the first game of the season, we won 1-0, and he was the goal scorer. But one of the games I still remember about him was the Manchester United game. I think we beat United 2-0. And look, that second goal, I can never forget it. Because we touched United, and what a finish! The finish for me is what really matters a lot. And of course, the memories of us beating Barcelona, the unbeatable Barcelona by that time. Look, Nasri, he went on not to have the best career of his life after City. I do not know why. I really don't understand why. But for me, he's one of those best signings that we've ever made. And I know, Arsene Wenger must be proud. Like, look, Nasri, I really can't explain. I just feel like we lack a player like him actually at the moment. In the past 3-4 years, we've not had someone like that. I feel like the presence of Cazorla could give you that, that feeling of Samuel Nasri, but he was that kind of, midfielder that, he just made me happy. That's it. He just made me happy. He was a bullet of a player. So number 5 position.
That game you've mentioned against Manchester United, those are the kind of games, if you ask me until today, I remember exactly why I watched that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were quite young, so those days, if you were like seen in a bar or a club, people would be like, what is this kid doing here? So I remember that game, I watched it in a bar, like with big guys, like people drinking, and I'm there drinking my Coca-Cola soda. I still remember it very, very well until today. Like the way fans used to cheer, we miss those days. Obviously, these days, usually mostly watch the games in-house and all that. So, Samina, I know people don't like him anymore and stuff, but those days, he used to be very good. The games against Barcelona, I remember as well. There's a goal he scored against Fulham, where he went past like 3 players and also passed the goalkeeper and then scored from an angle. Very, very good. So I can't disagree with that. Yeah,
it was so talented. I think after Samuel Nasri, we've not had like five players like him. I
Yeah.
don't feel like we've had five players like him as central midfielders, really.
Yeah.
But let's move on to your fourth best signing. Arsenal best, fourth signing.
So this could be a surprise to a couple of people. It's more recent.
Uh-huh.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is my number 4. So
Okay.
Aubameyang. So usually Arsenal, as you said, Nasri was a bargain. I think we bought him for like 10 or 12 million, something crazy like that. So apart from obviously the two expensive signings from Real Madrid and Barcelona before that, we never usually, and obviously the one from Lyon, we never usually used to pay a lot of money to buy players. And Aubameyang was a player since like 2013, I think, when Arsenal played against Dortmund, and he gave us such a hard time. I've always loved Aubameyang. I was like, this is such a good strike. Aubameyang, Lewandowski, those are the kind of examples you'd give people. Wow, look at how Ronaldo, Messi scoring goals, Lewandowski and Aubameyang in Germany. He used to be like that. So even the day that I had Arsenal being named to the Aubameyang, I was like, nah. Obviously, those days we never used to create content, but I was like, no, that is not possible. But I remember the excitement. I remember how I was like, we are finally getting a striker. The reason we didn't win the league in 2016 was because we didn't have a striker. We now have a striker. We are now getting a real striker who is going to score goals for us. And to be fair, right off the bat, he scored on his debut. And obviously the Mkhitaryan situation as well. We were like, he's going to play with Mkhitaryan again. That goal against Everton in the first game, assisted by Mkhitaryan. He scored, I think, in the last Wenger game. He scored a few goals against Burnley in that season as well, Watford. And let's not forget the FA Cup winning season. He basically won the FA Cup by himself for us. 2 goals against Chelsea, 1 very individual goal there. The 2 goals against Man City, another one very individual, the second goal. And I mean, he's almost at 100 Arsenal goals. I think he's not that far in the Premier League. He's not that far. I think if he stays for 2 more seasons, he'll get there. And not many Arsenal players have managed to score that amount of goals, that number of goals. So I think he's a very, very good player. Maybe recently he's dropped in form, especially last season. But in terms of signing, he was very, very good. And let's be honest, he's done his job 80% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's not disappointed. And for me, one of the things you have to achieve as an Arsenal new signing is the level of excitement. Because look, any signing brings about excitement. Any signing brings about excitement around us. But the level of excitement that Aubameyang came with is phenomenal. Look, I think I could compare it to Mesut Ozil probably. When we signed Mesut Ozil, that was mad. That's absolutely mad. Again, but look, Aubameyang, he's not disappointed for me. I think the first 3 seasons, he was that good, right? Recording double figures. I think Wenger was like, okay, I'm taking away Alexis Sanchez, but again, I'm bringing in a very, very good player. So I have to agree with you on that. I think Aubameyang has been good, but look, not in my number 4 though. Not in my number 4. Not in my number 4 though. Look, I've looked at a couple of players, around us, and look, right back, like we was, we've already said, I think it's been really, really disappointing, right? It's been really disappointing. But left back has not really, disappointed that much. Not really. Look, I just regret that Ashley Cole had to go to Chelsea. I don't know, but by the way, why we used to, really sell players. I still don't get it. Many explanations about the Emirates and things like that, but we really could sell to our best rivals, at least sell abroad, but selling to our best rivals. But anyway, let's number 4, signing my signing number 4, I'm going to go with Hileb.
What an interesting player. What an interesting player.
I'm going to go with Hileb. Look, you see, again, I've always loved the talent, and I've always loved the fact, I think this is why I'm an Arsenal fan, by the way, is I've always loved the fact that Arsenal have always gone for talent in the market. And then when we started going for, leaving that track, I felt like this was so wrong. But Alexander Hileb, guys, if you didn't watch this guy, or if you've not watched his clips or anything, you're unlucky. You're literally very, very unlucky. Very talented. That is the word, right? Very, very talented. Oh my God, our scouting network by that time was good. I've got to give them the credit because they were working on very small budgets, right? They're working on very small budgets, and on top of that, most of this, they had to keep up. You bring in a
Mhm.
player, 2 years, he goes away. You have to replace him, and I think they did it for quite some time, right? Until probably they got frustrated and things like that. But for me, in number 4, I'll go for Hileb. Look, Wilshire was talented. We loved Wilshire. He had soft, boots. Look, but Hileb had soft boots, bro.
Mhm.
Anything you remember about him, maybe?
Oh yeah, 2006 Champions League final, a painful one, but I do remember him in that game.
Mm.
I remember a goal he scored. There's a day we played against Fulham. Opening day we won by 2-1. Lehman made a mistake in the first minute of the first season of the season. It was a disaster. Imagine new season, you're motivated, and then within 1 minute of the new season at home, Lehman makes a mistake.
It's
He
a
literally
mistake,
passed the ball to their striker, and then we had to really fight in the second half to come back to that game. And Kleb was one of the goal scorers in that game. Again, I mentioned him with Rosicki. That midfield was superb in terms of ball control. I don't think anyone could play like those guys. Like Kleb, the way he could just dribble so easily, left, right, pass the ball. He didn't score that many goals, but he was very, very good. And one of the main reasons Arsenal was great that day. It still pains me that those players finished without winning any title. That's around there between 2006 2008. We should really have won the title because there's a time we finished 4 points behind Manchester United. There's a time Chelsea beat us in the Carabao Cup final, I think twice. Then it was called the Carling Cup. So we lost so many games those days that this player should really have won something. It still pains me that they didn't win anything.
Yeah, they deserve some silverware. So Hileb is my signing. Number 4. Glenn has already gone for Tomas Rosicky in 5. Who did you go for in who did you go in position for?
Aubameyang.
Aubameyang, right? So third best signing. Who's that?
That is easy. We signed him. He was 16 years of age when we signed him.
Mm.
Theo Walcott. I mean, this guy, if you started watching Arsenal during the Emirates era, he has to basically be in your top 5. Yes, if you hear some people talking about Walcott, you think he was a really terrible player.
Yeah, a terrible player. By the way, he wasn't actually.
He wasn't. He wasn't.
Both by by eye and by statistics, he wasn't one of the worst. He doesn't have a place there. He doesn't.
He used to score. Let's start with the big goals he used to score.
Yeah.
Even in the 8-2, who do you think got us those 2 goals? Walcott scored and assisted. I mean, it was him. He also won us a penalty in that game that Van Persie missed. He always scored against Chelsea. Chelsea hate Walcott. Like, he always scored against them in the big games.
I still remember that game when we had taken a long time without beating Chelsea, and then we beat them. Was it 3-1, 3-0?
At the Emirates?
Yeah.
3-1, 3-1. 3 goals within like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, exactly. That is one of the pumped up performances we have ever had against Chelsea.
Walcott used to be very, very good. And I also remember there's a hat-trick he scored against Newcastle. We beat them 7-3. I think Dembaba scored the goals for Newcastle. That game, there's a time Walcott was fouled. Instead of staying down for a free kick, he woke up and the referee was about to blow. And he literally dribbled and chipped it over the goalkeeper from like an impossible angle.
That's a Newcastle goal, wasn't it?
That was the Newcastle goal from an impossible angle.
Yeah, that was the Newcastle goal. And I also remember him being fouled and then he slides on his knees in a Chelsea game. But he doesn't stay down. He just goes on and gets us the first goal.
Exactly. That was at Stamford Bridge. I also remember that. Yeah. He was hit and the referee is about to blow the whistle and just stood up and put it past Peter Cech. I also remember the day. You remember the time we beat Reading by 7-5 in the Carling Cup. There were 4 goals ahead. Walcott scored 4 goals in that game. He was absolutely incredible. We were 4-0 down in the 60th minute, and he scored 4 goals. And obviously at the extra time, Shamak scored 2 goals. Shamak of all people scored, and we ended up winning the game 7-5. That is another memory I remember about Martinez, because he was awful in that game. Emi Martinez, I think he gave away like 2 goals or something. So Walcott, his best season for us was I think 2000 13, 14, if I'm not wrong. Let me just confirm that. I think it was 2013, 2014. He scored 14 goals and 10 assists in the league. That was very, very good. That same season, previous seasons, Barcelona, those games against Barcelona, he was incredible at the Emirates Stadium. I think he won us a penalty somewhere. He also scored somewhere. He was very, very good, Walcott. His pace was very exciting. And then my best memory of Walcott was Liverpool away in the Champions League, where he ran past like 8 players and passed it to Adebayo, and then he scored. And then obviously they scored 2 goals later on, and they went to the Champions League final. Again, if we had kept the lead then, would have been in another Champions League final. That's why I'm saying it was very unlucky that those players never won anything. But Theo Walcott was magnificent. So many hat tricks I can remember from the top of the head. I remember there's a time he wanted to play as a striker. He wasn't given the chance. England, he scored a hat trick.
I just remember those hat tricks. I think he scored. I think he scored like 3 hat tricks. Like I can remember. Yeah. I'm like, at least he scored those 3 hat tricks, and I can remember them.
Absolutely. So Theo Walcott was really good on that right wing. Evra, I remember an interview from Patrice Evra, and he was asked which player gave you a lot of nightmares, and he said Theo Walcott. He said the way Walcott used to run, like the previous night I couldn't sleep because I knew I was going to have to run the next day because Theo Walcott was very, very busy. I think the season was 2012, 2013. He was very, very good. I think if Gareth Bale wasn't that good that season as well for Tottenham, you'd have won Player of the Season.
Actually, if you're an English fan and you support England, I think he always delivered for England, and we said that before. That look, there was a way he would find himself on the score sheet for England somehow, and it's one of those players that I still remember represented Arsenal very well. On their national teams, Theo Walcott always, got a call and always answered the call. He always delivered for England.
He scored on his debut. So I remember when he was being signed, you just started supporting Arsenal. And you're like 16-year-old. This guy is just a few years older than me. What is he doing at Arsenal? And then Community Shield, he scored against Chelsea. He was 16 years of age. He also scored in the Carling Cup against Chelsea again. So many goals he scored against Chelsea. All very, very good memories. And then the favorite, the Liverpool away in the Champions League. You should search for it. I think it was 2008 or something. We went to Liverpool. They beat us 4-2. But that run from Theo Walcott was immense. Absolutely incredible. So Theo Walcott is my number 3. When I look at Theo Walcott right now, it's really changed, man. With that hairstyle and everything, is really
man. It's changed so much. It's really changed so much. But talking about changed players, and my in position 3 best signing of Arsenal that I've seen, Santiago Gonzalez Cazorla. Look, guys, I remember Cazorla from Malaga. I had watched Malaga very, very tight in the season before because they were in the Champions League, and I hoped that we could get Cazorla and Isco, right? I wanted both of them, but we couldn't actually. Reports were like we wanted both of them, but we couldn't. I wanted to get Cazorla and Isco, right? But we couldn't. Look, Santi Cazorla, the first game, I think it's the season when we signed him, Cazorla. Is it the season when we brought in Podolski as well?
Yeah, and Giroud.
Podolski and Giroud. We made. I think we made 3. We had 3 0-0s, or 3 or 2, I think, at the beginning of the season. But the first game was 0-0 at the beginning of the season. And Sunderland, and it was Santi Cazorla. Look, he hit the woodwork. He did everything in that game. Look, I had never been so excited about a player like I was about if only he had if he had curly hair, right? Because I really loved players with curly hair, those days. Diego Forlan, right? If you had curly hair, I was your man, right? You were my man. Look, but he never had curly hair. He had actually, a short hair. He was a very, very short man. He is a very, very short man. But the magnificence of that boy, of that man, will never go away from me unless we brought in. I don't know. I don't know who can I compare him to these days around Europe. One player that just gives you that. I don't know. I don't know. There are so many good players that there. But Cazorla, I still remember the Norwich goal that Wilshere scored. He had a move, a very, very good. He started that very, very good move. There was a day we lost to Manchester United 2-1. He scored a very beautiful goal as the match ended. And
Old Trafford, right?
Old Trafford, yeah, and you know why I was happy because what was I gonna say in the in the high school football debates? We've lost 2-0, but
Yeah.
that goal, the moment we scored that goal, I ran out. Right, I think what I was ready for the debate because it was a beauty of a goal. The guy had denied us, almost everything
Mhm.
in that game, David De Gea, because it
Yeah.
was so good. I think that was his peak,
Yeah.
David De Gea. But look, guys, Cazorla made me forget Samuel Najri for a moment. Honestly, he did. He was so good. And again, he's another player that I would take injuries away from his Arsenal career because again, we didn't enjoy that consistency like Rosicky, like Diaby. We didn't enjoy the consistency. We didn't actually get to see what it would feel like if Cazorla played 38 games in a season. It's something
Yeah.
that's happening with Partey at the moment, and I'm really, really scared. But Cazorla, third sign for me is my third signing, and ecstatic, just ecstatic.
What a player. So instead of adding to what you've said about Cazorla, how about I just give you my number 2,
Yeah,
Santi
yeah,
Cazorla.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I
Santi
agree with
Cazorla is my number 2. So,
you.
because you said a lot about Cazorla, but that's like a quarter of what I remember about Cazorla. Like, there's so much about Cazorla. I remember that Sunderland game, that's 0-0. But the away game was Liverpool away, and we
Yeah.
won 2-0. Cazorla scored and Podolski scored. Guess what? That was 2012. We are in 2021. That was the last time we beat Liverpool away from home. Cazorla scored 9 years ago. That was the last time we beat Liverpool away.
I
When
think
it,
both of them beautiful goals. Actually, the Ramsey goal was a very, very beautiful goal.
and
Yeah.
also away to Manchester City 2015 when he played with Coquelin in midfield and we beat Manchester City.
Yeah.
Cazorla scored a penalty and assisted Giroud's goal and then started dancing like after the free kick. Guess what? That was also the last time we beat Manchester City away from home. So the last time we beat Liverpool away from home, Cazorla scored. The last time we beat Man City away from home, Cazorla also scored. That's not it. Let me tell you something, Cossy. I used to see Cazorla. We would get a free kick. Cazorla whips it in with the left foot. We get a corner on the other side. Cazorla goes and takes it with the right foot. Like nothing, no difference.
Come on.
He gets a penalty. He takes it to the left foot. And then he just whips in another cross with the right foot. Like it's nothing. Like both legs are just working.
He was gifted. He was gifted, really. He was gifted.
Yeah. So I'll give you a stat. The only 2 players who have ever scored penalties with left foot and right foot, Martins from Newcastle, and also Zamora. Those are the only 2 players who have ever scored a penalty with both feet. So Cazorla should really be on that list. I think it's because he never took that many penalties, and he preferred taking it with the right foot. But Cazorla was magnificent.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for Cazorla in 2014, Hull City would have beaten us in that final.
That freak. Look, I mean, let me tell you, people. When I look at Cedric Soares standing on Arsenal free kicks, it shows how far we've fallen. Really,
Yeah.
It shows how far because free kicks were meant for players like Cazorla, right?
Absolutely, 100%. He also, that semi-final previously, we beat Wigan on penalties. Yeah. Guess who scored the winning penalty? Santi Cazorla yet again. So I've recently done a video about Cazorla, so all this is really recent on the memory. So in the debut season, he scored 12 goals and assisted 14. That was his debut season. 12 goals, 14 assists. And he played all 38 Premier League games, all 38. So it's really rare because even now we are wondering who Arsenal can play 38 games. And we're just talking about Cazorla's injury. But imagine the first season at Arsenal, he played all 38 games. And the previous season before that, he played all 38 games for Malaga as well. So him getting injured was really, really unfortunate. And also just like Rosicky, if he didn't get injured, we probably have beaten Leicester to the title that season.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, if we start speaking about Cazorla, it doesn't end, honestly.
I feel like crying.
Yeah, it doesn't end. It really doesn't end. I just feel like I wish I watched him more, honestly. I wish I watched him more. I wish I could, really, I don't know, because I feel like I didn't get enough. It's just that, it's just one of those episodes where I feel like it wasn't really enough. You didn't get enough, and I
Yeah.
didn't. So you're
He got
putting him in
injured
position.
too. He got injured too early. And if you check Arsenal's 2-3 best goals around 2011, 2015 there, Cazorla is involved in all of them. That Wilshere goal, it was Cazorla and Giroud 1-2, 1-2 to Wilshere. And that Rositzky goal is Cazorla, Rositzky, Walcott, Giroud, Cazorla again to Rositzky. He was always involved in those Arsenal team goals. He was always involved. What a player, what a player.
Yeah, absolutely.
10 million.
Yeah?
You
Yeah,
think he signed him for 10 million?
yeah, just 10 million. And look, position 2, my second best signing, in that era. I'll go with. I don't want to take him in, but look, despite whatever happened, I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Mesut Ozil. When we signed Mesut Ozil, we couldn't believe it. It was actually the stepping stone to an era of Arsenal starting signing players. One, for record signings, big money, as well as getting a player from a big club, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Really, it was
Very
the
rare.
beginning.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the respect that Mesut, look, I don't know what people expected, but his first season did very, very well. I think his first 2 seasons, he really did very, very well. I don't know what's happened. I think the politics that, in the end and things like that. But for me, Mesut Ozil, when he came in, I'm going to say this, I celebrated like we won a title, right? I'm telling you, right? Memories, right? I celebrated like we won a title. And honestly, when we signed Mesut Ozil that season, Giroud, of course, back to his missing business. But Olivier Giroud, did he score around 12 goals? Did he score around 13 goals? And most of the goals were assisted by Mesut Ozil. Actually, I still remember when he came in, I think he had around 4 consecutive games where he made an assist, and 3 of them came for Olivier Giroud, who scored around 5 consecutive games. At the beginning of the season and things like that. People, of course, Arsenal fans, how we start, trying to write him in history before, But look, Mesut Ozil for me, it was more. It was more like a PR signing, right? That kind of PR where you just want your fans to go mad, right? And I still remember deadline day, right? Deadline day signing. It was. I thought we were gonna go for Di Maria. I still remember on the TV, words and tickers scrolling. Arsenal want Di Maria. Ozil is also wanted. And then, oh my God, Mesut Ozil. Look for me. And again, look, he's not one of the signings that you say he didn't really work well for Arsenal. It's not true. During his time before, Alexis Sanchez, he did the part. I think he did better with Alexis Sanchez. That duo actually won us games. That duo, still remember the hat tricks from Alexis. Of course, Alexis was really hardworking, and I thank him for whatever he did. But look, Ozil, I can never forget that guy. I can never forget the good times. Whatever happened, and you still remember, even when he dropped onto the pitch, we were still asking questions. Why isn't he playing? The creativity disappeared from the squad, just like you pulled out somebody's heart from their chest. So, Ozil for me, I'll put him in position 2. My second best signing.
Again, that first season, I remember his first goal against Napoli. I almost screamed. I was like, what a volley. And then those days, the Napolis used to be very good those days. I think Higuain, those kind of players used to be there. They used to be really, really hard to beat.
Yeah.
I also remember...
Napoli was so good by then. Napoli was so good. It was producing so many good players, and they were consistent, really. They were good. They were really good, Napoli, by the time.
Thierry Henry's record of most assists, he had 20 assists in a season.
Yeah.
Ozil had 16 by December. And we were like, Ozil is going to reach 40 assists this season if they're not careful. He only added 4 more assists. Why? Because Giroud missed about 50 chances from Ozil.
Oh my God! Look! I thought about putting Olivier Giroud because why can't I put Olivier Giroud on my list? And I'm telling you, why can't I put Olivier Giroud among my best signings? Giroud could score as early as 9 minutes in the game, and that's it. He couldn't, right?
Yeah, and then
Unless
he could have.
and he could miss chances like it's
Yeah.
never happened before. Unless the team has 5 goals, Giroud could score goal number 6, right?
Yeah.
But look, Giroud missed. If there is a player that I think missed chances in this world, Olivier Giroud, my God.
I wouldn't put him on the list for. He's a funny player. He's a player you wouldn't put in the worst Arsenal players of all time.
Never.
Not at
Yeah,
all.
you
You'll
wouldn't do
never
that.
hear anyone mention. But again, the reasons why we went out to teams like Monaco and those kind of teams in the Champions League were all because of Giroud. There's a time he missed 8 chances against Monaco. He went out. Like, it was very, very unfortunate. But I do agree.
No,
Ozil, I'll never forget.
at first, I thought Giroud, Javino. Is there a difference? But look.
So Ozil, you remember the goal Ozil scored away to Ludogorets, where he literally went past like 4 players and then chipped it over the goalkeeper and then went on again and scored.
I don't know. I don't know what it takes to have such confidence as a player.
Yeah.
Not many players actually do have that confidence. Because look, I've seen players get there and they hit the ball first time and it just goes. I've seen players trying to take on players and defenders and they fail. But that goal, the confidence he uses, right? It's like he knows I'm going to score because the first touch is magnificent to put off the goalkeeper, and the rest is history.
Absolutely. So Ozil, there's a cross he did again also, I think away to Swansea, where he literally just put it to the far post and then I think Montreal cut it in or scored. Like the vision he used to have was really, really great. It's so unfortunate how
was it Kolasinac? Was it Kolasinac who made that goal?
There's one for Montreal and there's one for Kolasinac. Similar pass. Yeah. Montreal scored his, Kolasinac assisted Aubameyang for his. Like he used to pick out that pass very, very easily. So Ozil definitely has to be on that. It's sad how it ended with him. Also, the free kick he scored against, I think it was Liverpool.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say that. The rebound against Chelsea again. Look, I thought we were going to miss that. I think he also did score a rebound against. We lost that game. But I think it was against Manchester United. We lost the game the game where Rashford scored a brace, I think. We lost the game around, is it 3-1, 3-2? I think
3-2. I have some terrible memories of Old Trafford. There's so many times that happened. They score 2 goals and then we get a consolation. They score 2 goals, we get a consolation. So Ozil definitely.
One thing I remember, and I'll never forget about Old Trafford and United and Arsenal, despite the fact that we lost so many games to them, is we always played decent football. We always played good football. But we could never, it's like we could never beat them. There was a cast, something like that, I don't know. We could never beat them. We could just never beat them.
We finally beat them. Let's hope we can beat them again in the next few weeks. How would we do with these players? Imagine these players in that list. We would definitely win.
Yeah, definitely. So your signing, your best signing, number 1.
So there's so many players. I'll mention after we finish the top 5 because there's so many players I wanted to put in, but I couldn't. But it has to be him because it has to be Alexis Sanchez. However much you don't like him,
you cheated, my list. You looked into my list. Save you.
It has to be him. It has to be him.
Yeah, you're right.
Alexis Sanchez, my goodness. This guy, we could be losing a game and he'd be like, you know what, forget it. I'll just play by myself. He literally just does everything by himself. Some people didn't like how some people called him a bit greedy, but he used to do the job. That hat-trick away to Leicester, I remember it very well. Leicester lost 3 games that season. Arsenal beat them twice. Alexis Sanchez masterclass at King Power Stadium and also that masterclass he put on at Olympic Stadium against West Ham. That chip over the goalkeeper. I mean, seriously, he literally faked a shot. The keeper dove, and then he just put it on top of him. The disrespect. The reason why we were able to beat teams like West Ham, Leicester, and Stoke City away from home those seasons 2015, 2016 was because of not Cazorla, but Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez.
Cazorla was part of the team, but Sanchez also, he scored another goal away to Stoke where, I mean, it's very, very good. Like, he just shoot the ball, the keeper wouldn't see it. Right foot, left foot.
I mean,
go ahead.
He's one of those players that I saw do almost everything at Arsenal. Take a penalty right, take a free kick right, take a long shot right. I mean, have a one-on-one and finish it right, set up someone right. I think there is nothing he didn't do. And despite the fact that people think he betrayed the club, which I think he did.
Yeah.
But let's think about the conditions. He was not the first player to leave
Yeah.
Arsenal for Manchester United, right? And why
Yeah.
does he get the biggest blame? Van Persie had done it, and look, he's a Judah, yes, but Van Persie had done it, but
Yeah.
because people want Van Persie to be a big, a big part of our history, they
Yeah.
let him go with it, and they criticize Alexis, but he was brilliant. I still remember he thumped, I think it was Simon Mignolet. We beat.
Oh, I remember very well.
Yeah?
And also against United as well. I think
Yeah,
he
actually,
used
I
to
was gonna
shoot
say,
the ball.
and it's just a replica, right?
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
They shoot. Wow, 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 wow. Like he used to be very, very good at that. Like he just like that. That's when he's fed up. He'll just shoot the ball. Also against Aston Villa in the FA Cup final, he did the same thing. He just hit the ball from the middle of the pitch, and the keeper couldn't see anything at all. There was a last-minute penalty against Burnley, I think twice at their stadium in ours as well. He did that as well. Very, very good. A couple of Champions League games where he used to do the same. His combination with Ozil, especially that 2015-2016 season, they used to pass to each other like every single day. He used to be very, very good. Again, let's not forget 2017 FA Cup final against Chelsea. The game no one expected us not to beat Conte.
Yeah,
it was because of Sanchez, the first goal. Very, very early on in the game to calm the nerves. Very, very good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, both of us have gone for Alexis Sanchez as best signing. Because look, if someone is way older than us, they'll talk about the likes of Dennis Bergkamp, the likes of Pires. We do understand that, but in our own era and understanding of football, there have not been so many signings that have had such an impact as Alexis Sanchez. He had his impact right away, right? From shirt number 17, no, that was not good enough. To shirt number 7,
yeah.
Look, do you think it was either Ozil or Sanchez, because both of them wanted to renew their contracts by big money? Do you think it was either of the either?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was one of them, and I think we picked the wrong one. I seriously do think we picked the wrong one. I know Ozil was really good, but I would definitely have gone for Sanchez. Yes, a few players had said he's a bit greedy, maybe they don't like him and all that. But I mean, he used to take, like, having Alexis Sanchez on that left wing. He used to be very good, and then he's one of those players where if we didn't have a striker in a certain game, just like Walcott, we could just throw him as a centre forward. He could play in that position. He could do the job. He had the pace to do it. He had the energy. He could head the ball. All those comebacks we're talking about, those 3-3s against Bournemouth, it was Sanchez scoring the first goal or second goal. He used to be all over the place. He used to give the defenders a hard time. He could shoot the ball. He scored a couple of free kicks. I remember one against Middlesbrough. Very, very good player.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys. So look, best signings of best Arsenal signings that we have seen happen and worked. Those are mine. I've gone with Alexis Sanchez up top. I've gone with Ozil because of the love that he brought, and of course the transfer record breaking. And I think the first 2 seasons were really, really good in terms of provision and in terms of creativity. Giroud should be to blame for Ozil really not having many assists, really.
Yeah.
Then I've had Hileb in there as well. I've had the likes of I think we could we would have gone for Fabregas, but Fabregas had come in way earlier. Way
he would have been my number one. Yeah, if it was like 2006, you'd have been one. Yeah. So there's a couple of players. We didn't mention, but I think they really did. I mean, they gave us best memories at Arsenal so far. The first of them is actually a defender. We haven't mentioned so many defenders.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, really.
But Thomas Vermaelen was something different at Arsenal.
Yeah, man. Look, I wanted Vermaelen. Actually, I thought about Laura Koscielny, right? But then I remembered Thomas Vermaelen, the goal-scoring centre back.
He used to score goals. He used to go forward and shoot the ball, like get passed back 1-2, and then he'd sweep the ball. The last minute goals, it used to be Vermaelen. He scored on his debut against Everton. He won 6-1. He scored in that game so many times. Again, just like these other players we talked about, it ended very, very badly for him as well. Like, he just disappeared. But he used to be very, very good, Thomas Vermaelen. Like 10 million, that's what we signed him for, 10 million. And he did, I think he returned that money. It should have been like 30 million. In this day and age, it would be like a 35-40 million pound defender for sure. Maybe even 50 like Ben White.
Yeah. But I also think Leroy Koscielny deserves a shout out because despite the fact that he came in quick, quirky and everything like that, but Leroy Koscielny, one of the things I loved about him is he was in that Arsenal defense when with partners like Sebastian Siquilaci, right? So it's one of those centre backs that really did have a partner, really, right?
Yeah, yeah. He never had a good partner. Yeah.
Siquilaci, was Johan your part of that? Part of that.
He was Giroud.
Oh my God!
He was there. He was there.
Look, Arsene Wenger did make wise signings, but I don't know how those ones got.
Senderos final days as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
We brought in Sylvester.
We had one decent. We had one decent centre back, and that was Leroy Koscielny, actually.
Yeah.
The rest, the rest, we were absolutely gambling, guys.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Another one more player that we didn't mention in the top 5. It's Arshavin.
4 goals against Liverpool. Yeah, and the win against Barcelona. I mean,
Arshavin. Even him. I don't know where it went wrong. 2 seasons he was explosive on that left wing, and then he just literally disappeared. They said he became lazy. I don't know, but Arshavin also used to be very, very good.
Maybe one quieter signing you could bring out was Mikel Arteta. We signed him under pressure, but we've already because we all know the Mikel Arteta that was at Everton. When he came at Arsenal, I think his role really changed because he was not a very, very forward player now. He was actually sitting in the pivot, doing the distribution and things like that. But I also think he really did us a lot of good, in that team. Very, very good.
I don't know if you remember. He used to be very rough. We used to get so many yellow cards and red cards in the midfield.
Look, I don't know how his game changed from the thinker at Everton, because it was Marouane Fellaini to tackle, and the clean work was done by Mikel Arteta. He changed under Arsene Wenger. He changed, completely changed. But I also think he was an integral part.
I think we signed some of those players just because we had lost 8-2. I think we had no plans of signing Arteta or Matsako. We just signed them because we had lost.
Benayoun and a couple of others.
Santos, Park Chu-young. We just signed them because of that. But those 2 players, I definitely had to mention them. They're Arshavin and Vermaelen. If I would do like a top 10, they'd be there.
Okay, so guys, we are going to go into our best 11. I think we're gonna group these players into a best 11. Glenn, you can play any formation you want, but guys, give me your best 11 players that you've watched. Look, this is not about signing. A player could have arrived at any earlier stage, but if you saw him and you're satisfied with him, let me know. Your best 11s at Arsenal. Ever since you started watching football, because look, I can't say Adams is one of the best.
Right, yeah. But we love them, absolutely.
Yeah, we love them. They're Arsenal legends, but they're those players that we have seen, and we're gonna make our 11. It should be. Between us, it is all of all time, because literally since 2004 till now, that is of all time. So we're going to be. You're gonna look at. We're gonna look at goalkeeper. I'll start with myself because the best signings. Glenn started it. So goalkeeper, guys. Who would you go for? For me, goalkeeper. I've seen a couple of goalkeepers. Szczesny, Almunia, Fabianski, Manone, Peter Cech, Leno, Ramsdale,
Martinez.
Emi Martinez. Look, if he had played for 2-3 years, he would have been my best goalkeeper, really.
You did watch Lehmann as well, right?
Yeah, I did. I did watch Lehmann as well. Obviously. So look, I feel like one of the most underrated players that has ever been there and didn't receive enough respect was Almunia, right? Because for me, Manuel Almunia, despite the fact that he was destroyed at the hands of Barcelona, humiliated, like
painful. I probably think if you were to do a show with Almunia today, you'd still remember that day very well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but of course, James Lehmann is the man for me. Jens Lehmann is the man. Uh, Everything we won, James Lehmann. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
2004, 2005, 6. His final years, he used to make a lot of mistakes. That I think that first season at the Emirates, he was making so many mistakes. But compared to the other ones recently, I can see Afrogist saying best Arsenal goalkeeper of all time is David Seaman, obviously. But we weren't watching David Seaman. We are just
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
since we started supporting Arsenal. We weren't there in the 1980s and 90s. So yeah, I'd say Lehman, and then maybe closely followed by Chesney, obviously. I was really happy when he signed Peter Cech, by the way. I was like, experienced player. It didn't work out with him. So you're going to have Lehman there. I think his experience was really, really good. As you can see, it's written legend there. He's an absolute legend of the team.
Yeah.
And we did get to watch like 3 years of him at Arsenal. So if we started supporting Arsenal like around 2008, it would have been Chesney. But I agree with Lehman. I definitely agree with Lehman.
Okay, so we've gone with Lehman. I also agree. I don't think I don't think we've seen so many Arsenal goalkeepers that have kept us at that level where we. Of course, he had a very good team around
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's one reason as to why I feel like Almunia deserves more credit than he got, but he doesn't go past James Lehman. Now, left back, go fast. You should go fast, left back.
This
We've
is
had Santos. We signed Santos. Remember, you signed Santos, and he scored against Chelsea. That's what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, and gave the shot to Van Persie. That's all I remember about Santos. That's all I remember about Santos. So if you were doing a worst 11, you'd be there. But the thing is, we did watch Ashley Cole for a couple of years, but he'd left. He was at the end of his Arsenal career then, so you wouldn't include him here. If it was an all-time, he'd definitely be there. So not Santos, definitely. I'm going to give a special mention to Nacho Monreal. He used to be very good. I think Monreal used to be very good in covering that left back position and also centre back position. He used to be very, very good. Gael Clichy, there was Gibbs, there was Traore. I mean, there's so many options, but it has to be between
Monreal, Clichy.
Monreal and Clichy. I think those are the two
I
we're
think
going to
Monreal and
consider here.
Clichy. Yeah, I think
Those are two you're going to consider.
Kieran Gibbs was an upcoming talent who was a disaster.
Yeah, it was a disaster. I mean, if you had to go until recently, if you had to do this video 2 years from now, it probably would be TN. You'd put TN there. But Clichy, the one thing I remember about Cleo, the two things is one, he never used to score goals. Clichy, he think he only scored like 2 goals those 10 years we watched him at Arsenal. He only scored like 2 goals. There's a time he even shot the ball against Chelsea, and I remember what the commentator said. He's only scored 1 goal the last 7 years. I don't think it's a good idea for him to shoot the ball. And I was like, you should go there and tell him that. Like, just toss the ball. Even the commentator knew. For Montreal, he was very consistent. I think in terms of consistency, you're going to say Montreal.
He reminds me of actually not reminds me, but when I see Tomiyasu, I think about Nacho Monreal.
And that consistency and just doing his job for all those years. Exactly. I'm going to say Montreal for me.
Yeah, Monreal. I'll go with Gael Clichy. I'm going to go with Gael Clichy. I didn't have a problem with Monreal, but I feel like Clichy, was better. I just feel like Clichy was better because his transition was also good. Look, Monreal was more solid, and at times we used him as a centre back. But for me, I feel like for purposes of being a proper fullback, Gael Clichy was the man. But for purposes of at least being a complete defender, Nacho Monreal, because it was really, really good defensive pass. But we have to go for one. Who do we go for, Glenn? Do we go for Gael Clichy? Do we go for would you compromise and go for Gael Clichy, or you think Monreal was miles ahead?
No, he wasn't. He definitely wasn't miles ahead. I just think he was good of a bad bunch during that period. But yeah, I'd be happy to go with Clichy.
Yeah, so we're going to go with Gael Clichy at left back. We're going to go with Gael Clichy at left back. Did he finally join? Was it Manchester City?
Yeah, and I remember. So those are the two things that have made me really painful memories about Clichy. That game, and that transfer, and also the game against Birmingham. Remember the day William Gala started crying? It was a mistake from Clichy. If he just cleared that ball, he would have been top of the table with like 1 month to go. And he decided to give away a penalty in the 95th minute. That Eduardo day. It was Clichy costing us the game that day. So it was a painful day, but I'd be happy to go with him for the rest of the games with his 2 goals.
Right back, since the right backs I've seen, we did see Ebue, we did see Sanya. We had a long spell dominated by Bakali Sanya. Then we came to Matteo Debucci, right?
Yeah,
if I still remember. And then we came to the
Bellerin.
new era. Bellerin. Oh my God, Bellerin. The start of Bellerin, if he kept that, he would be better than Cafu. Honestly, I mean, it's not a joke. He really started off well. You can ask Liverpool. There's that game where we hit them, I think 4-0, and he scored the opener. Yeah, it was so good. But
also Chelsea, he loves scoring against Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, Sanya, Ebue, and Debucci shouldn't be in this debate because he was injury prone. Came from 12 million wasted. Newcastle.
They stole money from us.
Yeah,
they should have paid us more for Willock for that transfer of Debucci. Like it was a steal for them.
So we go for Sanya. You think Sanya is the better of them because he served longer, a little bit low. By the way, I look. I never felt like someone was going to. Those players where you don't feel like someone is gonna come for them. Like you don't feel like a team is going to come for them, very very soon.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he was really really very very.
Just maybe write the full name, Bakari, at the beginning.
Let me see if they give me that.
I mean, he used to be the crossing from Sanya. I think it was Bacary. It was Bakari's Bacary.
Really?
So yeah. So for Bakary Sanya, I remember the kind of crosses he used to give. I also remember that 5-2 against Tottenham, how good he was in that game. He used to be very, very good. So it looks like Nalana formation doesn't want to give us Bakary Sanya. But, I mean, he used to be very, very good. The crossing is what I remember most and very, very consistent. And if you are going to ask someone about Sanya, they'll remember his hairstyle. He never changed his hairstyle for like 10 years.
Did he say that he will, he was going to change his hairstyle if he scored? I still remember something like that. And did he ever score a goal?
He did against Tottenham in the 5-2. One of those 5-2s. We beat Tottenham 5-2 twice in a year. He scored a header. And also one game that people don't remember, he scored at Stamford Bridge as well, a header. And Didier Drogba scored. That's the season I was telling you you're supposed to win the Premier League. We scored first. Bakary Sanya scored first, and then Drogba scored 2 goals very, very late on in the game. So Bakary Sanya would definitely be on that list. I did not know that app didn't have a few players.
Yeah,
it's because Sanya has not played for a lot of years.
Yeah, maybe. But how come Clichy? How come they have Clichy? How come they have?
I think Clichy was still playing recently. I think Sanya retired a long time ago.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Not sure. We could go to the other positions first.
Yeah. So let's go to left defense, right? Left center back. Again, at left center back, I don't know. I think, look, we've spoken about Vermaelen, right?
Yeah.
Captain Fantastic, another goal scoring defender. So Vermaelen is there. I think Koscielny was more on the right, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Sometimes when Matsaka used to play, he used to be on the left.
Yeah. So there is also Matsaka. There is Mustafi.
He's not going to be there. He's not going to be there.
You have Kolo Toure. Senderos. We also watched Sebastian Siquilaci. Oh my God, William Gallas. Oh my God, shirt number 10.
Shirt number 10. I did hear that he was given that shirt number 10 because to stop the comparisons between him and the defenders who had been at Arsenal before. So the likes of Tony Adams, the likes of Sol Campbell, they gave him the number 10 shirt so that he doesn't get compared to Sol Campbell and Adams to take the pressure away from him. I don't think they did that. I don't think that worked. It added more pressure on him. So the number 10s we've had, the likes of Wayne Rooney, the likes of Messi, the likes of Smith Rowe, and then you look at him, you're like, how? How?
So I'm gonna go with Thomas Vermaelen. I'll go with Thomas Vermaelen at left side because there are not so many defensive decents that that I've seen. Kolo Toure obviously could partner Vermaelen. Gallas could partner Vermaelen, and then Koscielny could also partner Vermaelen. Look, I think it didn't end well, but was a decent centre back. He was, really.
He was. He used to score so many important goals for Arsenal. So many. So Vermaelen has to be there.
Yeah, and I think he's been playing football some summer, because in the Euros was he playing with his country?
Yeah, he actually does get picked. He still gets picked. He still gets picked. Surprisingly, him and the likes of Alderweireld, even though they're still very, very, very old. But at Arsenal, those 2010s, 2011s, they used to give us so many good memories, so many goals, so many headers. His defense, he used to play left back sometimes when needed. I remember him playing at left back sometimes when needed. So Vermaelen has to be there.
Yeah,
one of the many players who left us for Barcelona or Man City. So many of them.
Yeah, Barcelona. Okay, now we have Kolo Toure, we have William Gallas, and Loro Koscielny. Koscielny was there. No, I think. Did any of them have a decent partner?
I mean, Kolo Toure before, obviously. Kolo Toure before, when he used to play the likes of Campbell and those kind of players. That was before. But around 2007, 2008, it was a lot of rotation. Sylvester today, Scolacci tomorrow. There was even a defender called Miguel. I don't even think if you remember. He was called Miguel. He used to play a very few games, left-footed centre backs. Very, very awful defenders.
Oh my God!
I don't know where Wenger used to get these players, man. So Koscielny and Kolo Toure Koscielny used to score a lot of goals. That's the same with Vermaelen. That's the same thing with Nacho Monreal again, who we didn't include. They used to score a lot of goals all of a sudden to help us in crucial games. So Kolo Toure was very good. If we were to do an all-time, maybe from 2000 to 2005, Kolo Toure has to be there. But I think Koscielny also for the fact that he scored a very important goal in the FA Cup final for us against Hull City. Very, very many goals.
I think there was also a goal he scored. We were, it was like a half volley against against Newcastle. It was a goal that took us to Champions League. Yeah.
On the final day, we beat Tottenham to that away from home. Very, very crucial overhead kick. He had some really incredible technique as well, and his partnership with Mertesacker used to be very, very good. So Koscielny,
he always had very organized partnerships. When they were new. Mertesacker, when he was new, oh my God, we had gone some games without being unbeaten. The same thing with Mustafi. We were unbeaten for some games.
Yeah, if you tell someone that who has just watched Mustafi compilation, they'll think you're definitely lying. You're unbeaten with Mustafi, you're lying to us. But yeah, there was a time they were good. But Koscielny, Kolo Toure, the one thing I really loved about Kolo Toure, again, guys, we're doing this from 2004, not before that. I know we could mention Campbell, Adams, Dixon, Winterburn, all these players on this list. But Toure, again, his free kick. Kolo Toure could take a free kick. He could smash a free kick. He used to do that, like just smash it like Alex at Chelsea. He used to do it very, very well. But Koscielny, in terms of consistency, again, just like all these players, did end very well by the way he left. But Koscielny used to score for some really important goals, and his partnership with Vermaelen at some point and with Mertesacker at some point was really good.
Yeah, and I felt like whenever he came back from injury, he was like a breath of life in our defense, right? We really The player you're talking about was called Ignacio Miguel. I remember that. Yeah. Have we had?
I don't even know where he went. Those kind of players, I don't know where they went at all.
I know, man.
Very, very tough days then. And he was like promising. They said he could be the next, Like
Nah,
the
nah,
next
nah,
Colo
nah.
Toure or someone in defense, like no
Yeah,
way. No way.
yeah.
Again, if we
I
had this
think
kind of players right now,
I think Arsene Wenger really wanted a ball playing centre back first and foremost, and then because he had failed to get Gerard Piqué from Barca, and only got Fabregas, he continued his his time to he continued his quest to get a ball playing centre back, and
yeah,
boy oh boy we did suffer with that. We suffered a
we
lot with that.
we
Oh
did,
my
we
god!
did, we did. Seriously, if we
Because for me,
had
mm,
two good defenders or a goalkeeper at that time, Arsenal would have won the title in
mm,
2007 and 8. We finished like 4 points behind United, 3 points behind Chelsea at some points. And it was because of how bad our defense was. We used to go to Bolton and lose 3-2. Who loses to Bolton? Like some
great
silly
too.
goals like those days. So, Carling Cup final, for example, we bottled it in 2011 against Birmingham and Martins. Those kind of results. So if you had a good defense then, we'd have won the title because the forward players were really good.
Yeah. So, guys, let's see. So, who do we
Cossy,
go for? Do we go
Cossy,
for Koscielny?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'll go with Koscielny as well. Look, I know they are. I mean, anyone who is a big Colo Toure fan is like, what are these guys doing? But I'm going to
Yeah,
go for Laura Koscielny as well. Actually, I was a big fan. I was a big fan, and I was hard when he left. I was really hard.
yeah.
I think he had gone
The
for.
way he left as well. The way he left, he was
Mm,
very disturbing and sad how he left. But I mean, those two centre backs could get you at least 15 goals per season. It's not joke. Like they could get you 15 goals a season. Those two centre backs.
yeah, they could. Okay, now we have a big problem with the central with the midfield.
Yeah, we have. Which
We
formation
mentioned.
are we playing?
Look, it looks like we're playing a 4-3-3. Should we change it to like a 4-2-3-1 where you could have more midfielders there?
I think we have to.
Okay.
I think we kind of have to. Yeah.
Four
Four, two,
two. Let's
three,
go
one.
for 4-2-3-1 because I think that's what Arsene Wenger really played predominantly.
Yeah, he used to play a lot of that. Obviously, back in the day, there was like 4-4-2 with two strikers, but
Mm,
like coming into the 2010s, it used to be this formation is one that is used by most teams a lot.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Because
first of all, I mean,
I
hmm?
still remember Ramsey being played as a left midfielder and right midfielder, and he actually worked out.
Yeah. So straightforward. Let's just put Fabregas there.
Yeah.
So we didn't mention him in the best signings because we weren't there when he was being signed. Like we
Mm,
didn't follow Arsenal that much when he was being signed. But the memories from Fabregas was very good, man. Fabregas, again, those kind of players, I really feel bad that it didn't work out for them at Arsenal, like in
mm,
terms of trophies and titles. If we just had a good defense those days and all those players stayed, we could have seriously won like 3 Premier League titles.
yeah.
Fabregas, I was very surprised he was given the captaincy at some point, but he did well. He used to turn up in big games. Ask Tottenham, like away, at home. There's a time he dribbled past like 6 Tottenham players and scored a goal. There's a time he whipped the ball from outside the box at Goodison Park against Everton, at White Hart Lane against Tottenham. Those Barcelona games, not one, two of them. Obviously, I remember he played Barcelona 4 times in 2 years. There was
Yeah.
the 4-1 where Messi scored 4 goals. There was, I think, a 2-2 draw. I think Diaby scored. There was also the 3-1 where we lost. I think Bentner scored. Some funny individuals scored the goals. And then
Yeah.
at home, there's a time we drew with them 2-2. And there's a time we beat them 2-1 when Ashavin scored. So all those games, the 2-2 Fabregas scored a last minute penalty. He used to be good. And then if you check out this, if you search for Arsenal's biggest wins, for example, you'd see 7-0, 7-1s, all those games. You be sure you'd see two
Yeah.
Fabregas goals
Yeah.
or two
Yeah.
Fabregas assists
Yeah.
somewhere. And I'll
And,
give
and,
you guys a stat. Go ahead, go
and
ahead.
he's one player that really used to score goals from the midfield. He loved scoring, could score.
Yeah, he could definitely score. He scored a lot
Yeah.
of goals, and he's one of very few players who have had 100 assists in the Premier
Mm.
League. I think with Giggs, I think Scholes or someone else. Not many, not many. And I'll give you a stat as well. He's one of only 7 players to ever assist 4 times in one game. He assisted 4 times in one game. The others, surprisingly, are also Arsenal players. Cazorla, Dennis
Yeah.
Bergkamp, Adebayo, although not for Arsenal, it was for Tottenham. Jose Antonio Reyes was in that list as well. And recently, you'd remember United beat Leeds. Pogba assisted 4 goals, and Harry
Yeah.
Kane last season. So those are recent. But Fabregas used to do it very, very well consistently. Corners, free kicks, big goals, always, always. So Fabregas, I think, has to be on everyone's list.
I mean, by the time I started interacting with football, I already said this. I was on radio. It was radio, and the commentary you could hear about Chess Solar was different. Was absolutely different. He could unlock the the low block, and that's one thing that I think we're struggling with. We really pass it around. But Odegaard can do it, but he's afraid of taking the risks. I think he needs to learn that as an attacking midfielder, you're going to lose the ball more times than anyone on the pitch, and that is absolutely okay, right? I think that is what just Fabregas was not afraid to do. He could just try anything, right? Try a through ball for Adebayo, try a through ball for Van Persie until it worked out, or until it never worked out for 90 minutes. But
Theo Walcott was one player who enjoyed playing with Fabregas. Those two passes were really passes,
and with this pace as well.
So Fabregas used to turn up in the big games. Also, I think you've mentioned the Nasri goals already in this video against United. I think Fabregas assisted one of them. Like he used to be in and around. So Fabregas has to be a good player for Arsenal. I wish he came back because he literally went and won a title for Chelsea.
Yeah. So I think Wenger said that he wanted to teach a lesson to the players that if you go, there is no soft landing, like coming back, softly. I think that's what he said.
I think they taught us a lesson. I think they're the ones who taught us a lesson.
Look, we have two CDM positions, which really mean nothing as long as we can fill them with midfielders. I'm going to go for Song. I might put. I'm gonna put Alexander Song-Belong, if you agree, because look, Alexander Song-Belong. Again, when I think about Abasa Melokonga, it's not yet at that level where he unleashes. Because I still remember it was Leeds, that beautiful pass through to Thierry Henry on his return. Then you have that again. We played against Liverpool 2-0, and he slotted that beautiful ball to Robin van Persie, which he was it Liverpool Everton? I think it was Liverpool.
Both.
Both. Yeah, both. Yeah. And he hit them on the volley. So Alexander Song-Belong. Look, they've been the replica. His possible replica would have been Frimpong. Where is he? Where is that boy?
I mean, first of all, here's another player again who went to Barcelona. I think we've already talked like 5 players who went to Barcelona after Arsenal.
Yeah.
What Alex Song was the first player we signed when he moved to the Emirates Stadium. By the way, we signed him and then we took him out on loan. I think it was Charlton or something for 1 season, and then he came back. So he was signed and we didn't know anything about him. I think he was like 18 or something. That season we also signed Rosicki, Baptista, those kind of players. We signed them on that season. But those passes you've mentioned all the passes that I've mentioned. That Thierry Henry pass. Who would even thought Song had that kind of range? You'd say such kind of stuff about Fabregas or Scholes at United or Lampard at Chelsea. Not Song-Belong. He used to do it consistently for Van Persie. Van Persie absolutely enjoyed those passes, and he had the perfect player. Those volleys, we had the perfect player to finish that. So Song again, defensive midfield. He had a lot of partners. So many players played next to him. Today it was Wilshere, tomorrow it was Ramsey, tomorrow it was Diaby, the next day it was Frimpong. So many players played in that position, Fabregas as well. But Song again in those Barcelona games, Song was really good, especially the Emirates games.
Yeah, absolutely. So Song, we agree. I mean, Francis Coquelin didn't work out. Frimpong didn't work out. Ever since Alexander Song, we struggled. Many people will say ever since Patrick Vieira, but I feel like we got some. We had gotten some kind of breather with Song, and finally
he was not a hard tackling midfielder like Roy Keane or Vieira, but he used to do his job in midfield and then with some extra sauce in it with a couple of good passes, a couple of good goals. I remember he scored away to Man City. Maybe just write Song-Belong, because then they'll bring for you a lot of songs from Korea. There are a lot of them. Them.
Like, is Song-Belong, is it one name?
No, 2 names. Song
Uh,
Belong used to be very, very interesting player. He used to like
yeah.
those seasons, man. Good memories, good memories. Again, another player who would have, I think it's Bi, on another player who would have been great if he stayed. I think he would have done the job for us for a couple of more seasons. Again, finished Arsenal career without winning anything. Unfortunate for them, but Song Belong was used to be good. Used to be good.
No, he must be in this app. Unless I'll go with Alex Song.
Yeah, try Alex Song. He could be there. And obviously, his uncle used to play football as well.
Yeah.
Alexander, maybe write the full name. Alexandra.
I just wonder why. How can Song miss?
I mean, I think he retired a few years ago. Maybe that could be a
Or
few years
maybe
ago.
he's not active, right?
Just write song. Just write full song. It
Not
should be
active.
there, honestly. I don't know why they don't include some players. Not sure why they
I
don't
think he's
include.
retired. I think he's retired.
He's retired, yeah, but they should have like all the players, like all the players. Someone is saying song, or why song?
No, it's Song, like
Yeah,
song.
song belong. What a
Alexander
player though.
Song.
What a player though. I think the one of the legends for Cameroon. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Like those kind of players.
I miss him. I miss him. I think we feel.
Yeah.
I just feel like I pray Lokonga works out. I pray Lokonga works out. So we shall leave that point. We shall leave that place. But look, I think to complete the midfield, we have two players really, and we shall either decide that one plays advanced on either or on the right midfield or left. I think you have
Yeah.
Nasri, you have Hileb, and
Yeah.
Kazola.
Zola. So all of them from the left side. That's a tough one. That's a very, very tough one. So are we going for central midfield first, right? Not left winger.
Yeah, we're going for this position here, central midfield.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like Kazola could play in a pivot. Well,
yeah, he could of course he could play left midfield. He could play where you've just put Fabregas. Fabregas could play deeper if you want, but he did a very good job. Both of them. I wanted to mention who is it? Ramsey. Ramsey did well. Ramsey, I remember when he came to Arsenal, there's a time he was like, don't play Ramsey. There's a time Arsenal fans did not want to see Ebu and Ramsey. It was actually a bit unfair. But when he started playing well, especially that 2013-2014 season, he used to bomb forward, he used to score goals, magnificent goals. There's a goal he scored away to Galatasaray. What's his name again? Ramsey. Very, basically won us 2 FA Cups as well. I mentioned to him, I'm not sure if because he wants to include him or not, but as you said, Cazorla, I'd have Cazorla as one of the CDM positions, so Cazorla would be there first.
yeah. Look, Santi Cazorla, of course, already being in best signings, there's no way you put Cazorla, but he's also retired. Let me see.
I think he's still playing in the team that Xavi has come from.
Really? In our side? Is he still a player?
He used to play there. I think the last time I saw him was earlier this year, so I'm not sure if he's retired, but he used to play under Xavi.
Cazorla.
He used to be there. Cazorla should be there because he's played recently.
Yeah, I mean, if the likes of Heinz Lehmann, Santi, let me look for Santi and see.
Yeah, Santi Cazorla should be there.
They give Santi.
Maybe just write the full name. He should be there. I don't think he cannot be there because he's very recent. He's very recent, and it would be disrespectful for them not to have Santi Cazorla there. Cazorla has to be there. The R is not there. Just write Z-O. Then R-L-A. There's R you've missed after O.
Oh, there's an R.
Yeah. I don't know why it's still not coming, but Santi Cazorla, he has to be there. I'm not sure why they did not include him. They're disrespecting Arsenal players, but Cazorla will definitely be in that midfield with Fabregas and Son. That would be an interesting lineup.
Yeah. Santi Cazorla. Yeah, I mean, still playing football.
Yeah, the app is letting us down.
I don't know why. Look, I don't know why. I should be. I'm going to start doing my own graphics. Really.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
I'm going to start doing my
Because
own.
some of these apps don't have the names.
Yeah, Kazola has to be there. Okay, so let's move on.
Any other players you'd mention in that midfield?
In that pivot?
Yeah. Wilshere?
Fabregas, Cazorla. I think Wilshere deserves a mention. It is injuries. Diaby deserves a mention. It's injuries because Diaby, for me, he was really talented, right? Like those kind of talents that Diaby, Gotze, those talents that I feel like were just unpacked, right? Like it's like you buy something and you just keep it, right? Or something conditions let you know to keep it, to unpack it. He should have been. Look, I think new Patrick Vieira. I don't know, but I really loved him. I really loved him on the ball. I really loved him.
Yeah, absolutely. So Diaby is also really good. And Paul used to say if Diaby didn't get injured, he would have won us a trophy somewhere.
Yeah. I mean,
he was very good.
He was good. I think he's one of those, again, smart, well spotted signings, right? Like well spotted.
Yeah, very, very true. So I'd mention them, but obviously wouldn't include them. I'd have Song, Cazorla, and Fabregas there.
Yeah, Song, Cazorla, Fabregas. We've gone with Song, Cazorla, Fabregas. The app does not, reflect the others because of reasons that we do not actually understand. Okay, right midfield, Rosicky.
Are you going to put Rosicky, not Walcott?
No, not really. Because look, on the left, it could be a little bit tricky, right? On the left, it could be a little bit tricky, but I think if I have to battle it with the likes of Chamberlain, the likes of Ramsey, who also at times played there for Anderson Wenger, the likes of Walcott, I'm going to go for Rosicky. I'll go for Rosicky, unless look, I'll go for Rosicky, and then to balance the equation, I don't know. I don't know. Probably Sanchez, maybe. But
I'd have Sanchez on the left side.
Yeah, Sanchez on the left. On the right, then would you play Van Persie as striker?
Oh yeah, 100%. Van Persie has to be there. That's why I really actually wanted a 4-4-2. There's a reason I also wanted a 4-4-2 because I think Cazorla can play as a left-sided midfielder, and then you could have Rosicky or Walcott as a right midfielder, and then up front you have Van Persie and someone else.
But again, if Sanchez goes there, how about Alexander Ileb?
I think he wasn't there for that long. I think there's a couple of players who were there enough. But if you're to have a bench on this team, I'd have him there. But I don't think he would be perfect enough to be in the main team. Main team, there's still a couple of players we are going to leave out, but I don't think we'll consider him.
So do you go for Walcott? Or do we go for Rosicky? I would compromise. I would compromise this time.
Yeah, I'd have Walcott.
Yeah, I would have Walcott.
I think he was very, very consistent for a longer period of time.
And effective. Maybe that's the reason. Walcott was effective.
He was. I mean, I don't agree with those people who said Walcott was useless. He wasn't. He used to turn up in big games.
What are your thoughts on Chamberlain, though?
In terms of being on this list?
Not really, but I mean, he was again a kind of a hype. He was kind of a hype, and when he came on, when he came in, I felt like he was just like these other signings that we had brought. We could bring in and work out the likes of the Nasri type. You bring him and he works out. But I just feel like his game lacked. I don't know why he didn't become that player that we all expected.
I don't know. It could be injuries. I'd say injuries. There's also a time where he wanted to play as a central midfielder. He wanted to play as a right midfielder. I don't know if he ever got his perfect position because sometimes he used to play sometimes back five during Wenger's later years. Back five, he used to play as a right wing back, left wing back, and then tomorrow he'd be a right winger. Tomorrow he wants to play as central midfielder. He used to be like Maitland-Niles in terms of I want to play in this, I want to play in that, just like Theo Walcott as well. He got his injury, obviously, at Liverpool, and it's ruined him totally. And I remember the five players we had those days who used to be promising. the five English players that used to go everywhere together
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah.
Walcott, Chamberlain, Gibbs, Wilshire, and Jenkinson. Those
And
five
Jenkins.
of them used to be like, these
Oh
are the
my
next guys.
God! You still remember Carl Jenkinson?
These are the guys. These are the guys
You
who
know,
are going to take Arsenal forward.
you know,
Three
but
or four of them did not work out.
by that time I had friends, and we could make, some, we could actually make players out of paper, right? And then we could just use them to play, and you could construct a whole team, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I still remember Jenkinson is one player that never came off the bench. I did remember bringing Carl Jenkinson.
Jenkinson used
Oh,
to
but
be.
he never start a game. He would never
Yeah,
start a game, and
yeah.
he would definitely never look. Look, I think I'm just a poor manager.
Jenkinson used to be at Arsenal because he had pictures of Arsenal players in his bedroom. That's the only reason he played for Arsenal, because he used to be an Arsenal supporter as a kid. Because what was Jenkinson good for? He wasn't a good defender. He wasn't good going forward. He wasn't a good tackler. Maybe a bit of pace, but not that much. Not like Bellerin. All I remember about him is in the 8-2 is the one who got the red card. That's the only thing I remember about Jenkinson. He got the red card in the 8-2 game. I mean, nah, Jenkinson used to be bad, but at least he was just like Chamberlain, as I said. Those English players, we expected all five of them to make it. I think only Walcott did. Wilshire got ruined by injuries. Gibbs, I think he plays in US right now, totally dropped off, went to West Brom or those kind of teams. Jenkinson totally dropped off. Chamberlain, yes, he's won the Champions League, but how much did he contribute to those teams? I don't think he can. Only Walcott actually did well from that list, to be fair. Only him did. Only Walcott did well. So someone says Nasri on the right.
Yeah,
Simon, would you have Nasri ahead of Walcott though?
I'm going to put. I'm just going. Let's give him a call if he can actually appear, because again he's not appearing because
Yeah.
he recently
Retired.
retired as well, right? But you know,
So he's not there as well. So
he's not,
Nasri.
Samuel Nasri is also is as well not there. But if he was, I would give him a place besides Fabregas. I would.
Nasri, Fabregas. Okay, so Sanchez. Can we put Alexis Sanchez on the left?
Yeah, obviously. That's the call. Yeah, Sanchez.
Let's put Sanchez on the
Unless
left. Is that the right side or left side? Left side. Okay, Alexis Sanchez. Yeah. Again, every time I watch Alexis Sanchez at Inter Milan, I cannot believe how much he's dropped off. Literally cannot believe. He's not the same Sanchez we had at Arsenal. If you already talked about him in the top 5 signings for us, Sanchez has to be there. I'd even go as far as saying Cossy in my, if even to include the players from the 1990s, I'd actually even have Alexis Sanchez in my top 10 Arsenal players of all time. He's that close.
Of all time.
Of
Like,
all time.
okay,
Premier League era.
If you said from 2000,
Even
right?
from 1992 when the Premier League started, I'd be very tempted to have him in there.
Really,
I think he really did. I think he really did a lot for Arsenal, like by himself.
Yeah, he did. Maybe the credit he deserves is the period that at which they lifted the club, him and Ozil. It was literally them and no one else, right?
Yeah. I know you can mention a lot of players: Thierry Henry, Beckham, Campbell, Adams, Pires, Vieira, even Gilberto. Would you be tempted to put Gilberto in this list if you had watched him a lot? Gilberto used to be very good in terms of bombing. For there's a season he was taking Arsenal's penalties. I think that's 2006 season he was taking Arsenal's penalties. All of them used to be very good, but Alexis Sanchez, I think he did it by himself. He used to be very good.
Yeah, I mean, I would Gilbert. I would be tempted. I would be tempted. Look, if Sunderland qualifies, I think the master at doing that, at giving players permission to, go forward and him being the rock, you really can't, forget, Gilbert.
Yeah. So Sanchez for me, I'd have him there. I know we've left out a couple of players. So midfield, we've gone for Song and Cazorla. So we've left out Rosicki and Nasri, obviously painfully. Someone says Ozil. Ozil will not get into this team for me ahead of Fabregas. No chance.
Yeah, no chance. No chance.
But
he was good as well.
Good shout. Yeah, he was good. Good shout, Simon. But how long though? 2 seasons, 3 seasons. Apart from that, I mean, these players, Vinicius at Arsenal for like 10 seasons. Vermaelen was there for like 6. Cossy was there for like 10. Walcott was there for like 12 years. Fabregas was there for like 10 years. All these players really served a lot, and they did a lot, I think.
Okay. I mean, striker. We said we would go for Van Persie, but listen, Van Persie played. Just want to get these statistics right, right? 278 games for us, right? Oh damn. He scored so many goals. He scored 132 games in 270 78 games. He assisted 58 times. So literally got involved in around 190 goals in 200 in less than 300 games. That is brilliant, really, isn't it?
Please do me a favor. If after you finish this show, you just search for Van Persie's goal away to Charlton. The volley scored away to Charlton from a Bues cross. Just search for Charlton versus Arsenal, Van Persie goal. Man, he used to score these volleys as a joke, like every single day.
By the way,
every single day. There's a season, that 2011 season, 2012 season, the 2 seasons before he left. There's a time he scored like 33, 4 goals for us in the league for one season. I remember I used to go watching the games outside.
That's the season when United actually destroyed us.
H2, yeah.
Yeah.
That season he scored every single one of our goals.
Yeah, he did well, and we finished third, actually.
I used to go watching the games outside, and then I come back home, and then people ask me, oh, how many goals? How many did you win? Yeah, how many? 3-1. The next question would not be who scored. The next question would be Van Persie scored how many? How many did Van Persie score? 2 goals. Tomorrow, 2 goals. The next day, he scored a volley against Everton to win the game. The next day, he scored twice against Norwich. The next day, he did this. The free kick. Van Persie had the power on that left foot. I know Podolski used to be up there in terms of power, but Van Persie, again, there's a free kick again. I think it was against Sunderland as well. There's a free kick he just hit, and it hit the post. The goalkeeper did not see anything. Just search for Van Persie's goals on YouTube, man.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, he had the power. Yeah. And look, he was not so much of a clinical finisher, but he was one person that could score goals, and he was reliable. That's one thing I remember. I think he could have scored more and played more, but again, the earlier part of his game affected by injuries.
Yeah, and he was also there was a couple of players ahead of him as well. And he was not afraid to shoot the ball with his right foot as well.
No, yeah, he wasn't.
He was not afraid at all.
I just wonder whether he feels he should have stayed at Arsenal and probably won a Premier League with us.
I mean, yeah, he did win a Premier League with United. I think that's all he wanted. He was asked whether he regrets leaving Arsenal, and he said no. So, I mean,
and Sanchez said yes. I regret leaving Arsenal. I should have. I wanted to come back as soon as possible, as soon as I could.
Yes, Van Persie used to be something else. But there's one player I want to mention. A couple of players I want to mention up front in terms of players who are really good. One of them is Yaya Sanogo. No, I'm joking. It has to be.
They called him a talent,
They call him a talent. 4 goals in his debut against Benfica. This guy is going to score 30 goals. Man, Sanogo, man, used to be, again, where did Wenger used to get these players? Adebayo used to be a good player. I don't know if you guys know.
No, look,
actually,
last time I was listening to Lee Garner, right? However much people don't like him, but I do like him. I think his opinions are okay. And he was saying how Adebayo never wanted to go away from Arsenal, right? He never wanted. And in that season when he went, I think he had scored around 20 goals, for us. Around 20 goals for us.
Consistently used to get double figures. And then, if you look at those games, before we beat United the other day, just like Cazorla, I told you about Cazorla being the last player to score when we beat Man City away from home and beat Liverpool away from home. Before we won at Old Trafford last season, who scored the last goal we beat United away? It was Adebayo. He scored at Old Trafford. Those games he used to play against them. There's another, you've mentioned the 2 goals from Nasri against United. We've talked about the Cazorla goal against United, the Ozil goal against United. There was a game where United had the lead 1-0 the first season at the Emirates, and then later on Adebayo, I think Van Persie scored, and Henry scored in the last game to beat United 2-1. So those days, like Adebayo in those
Uh, uh,
games, he used to
and
be
there is
very
that
good.
goal against was it Valencia or Villarreal? One of the
Villarreal.
two.
Overhead kick.
That overhead kick. Oh my god! Right.
Consistently used to, there was this volley against Tottenham,
Mm.
where he was. I think we won 3-1 there. I think Fabregas also scored in that game. The ball came to him, and then he just put it up a bit and then volleyed it. And the commentator that day, I remember saying, "Adebayo, brilliant, absolutely brilliant." Like I still
Yeah.
remember the commentary from that game.
Yeah.
Adebayo used to be, and then he also used to consistently score hat tricks as a joke, like three goals here, penalties here. I think he never missed a penalty for Arsenal, if I'm not wrong. I think he scored 15 out of 15. So I don't think Adebayo is a completely useless player. And they also scored
Yeah.
headers, always scored headers. So again, even with him, just like Nasri, just like Fabregas, Sanchez, it ended in a bad way, but he was very unlucky not to win a trophy by himself.
Oh my god! Look, I just love these discussions. They're a little bit. I mean, if you're suffering from problems
Reminiscing,
with
yeah.
mental health, they just make you feel any better. But look,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask you if you had to make a bench of seven to this team. Let's just make a bench of seven and leave this place because I'm literally starving. Right, a bench of seven. You need to have a goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper I'm going to have Ramsdale.
That's Ali? That's Ali?
I'm joking.
I actually thought you're serious because it's been very good. So
not,
I
not
wouldn't.
really. Not after.
No,
But
okay.
look, I
Chesney?
think, I think on goal. My only problem with Chesney was he could lose concentration.
His
It was very
attitude, his
very
attitude was terrible.
yeah. I still remember um, he broke into the Arsenal. Um, he broke into the Arsenal team at the same time when he had actually brought in when United had brought in David De Gea.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
thought they were competing favorably, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
the Gea is history, and look at what Chesney has actually become.
Yeah, Chesney, I mean, I remember there was a time we played Southampton away from home. I think it was that time we lost 4-0 to Southampton. I think Mane and Long ripped us apart. I think, after Christmas. I mean, we've been through it as Arsenal fans. Imagine Boxing Day, we lost 4-0 away to Southampton after Christmas. And Chesney, I think, was caught smoking or something in the dressing room. Like, he used to have this kind of the kind of problems that Arsenal used to be all over the place. But I'll never forget he was also part of that I think 2015 FA Cup winning squad when he beat Aston Villa in the final. He was there, so I think he did great for majority of it. So I think we'd have him on the bench
Yeah. Yeah.
to back up
So
Lehman.
Chesney probably on the bench. We need to have a defender at least. On the bench, who would you go for? We've already put Sanya at right back. I would go for one versatile one, Monreal.
I'd go for Monreal. I agree with that. I think Monreal was very consistent. Monreal used to score goals, by the way. Monreal used to score goals. I don't know if you guys know about that. Like, he used to score goals every time. Consistent. Used to be very, very consistent. So I'm going to put Monreal on the bench. So in
Yeah,
case you don't know, by the way, we have Sanya as the right back, and we have Cazorla and Alex
Cazorla
Song in
and
midfield.
Song. Yeah, in midfield.
Yeah.
Okay. Look. So Monreal on the bench. Chesney on the bench. Definitely because Nasri is not in is not in the team. Qualifies
Yeah.
to be on the bench really. With Alexander Hilep there.
And Rosicky.
And Rosicky.
So
Those are already five. Up front, would you put Eduardo there probably? And Ozil?
I'm glad you've mentioned Eduardo, by the way.
Deserves
Eduardo,
mention.
if Eduardo didn't get injured in 2007, we would have won the Premier League title. Do you know how painful that is? Eduardo used to be very, very good. Eduardo, I don't even know where I got him from. I don't know if it's Dinamo Zagreb or somewhere from Croatia. He used to be half Brazilian, half Croatian.
I think it was Zagreb.
He used to be half Brazilian, half Croatian, and he used to be very technically gifted. Like, he would just pass the plane, just chip the ball, just like Carlos Vela. How Carlos Vela used to do it, the way they just chip the goalkeeper like so easily. He's got some goals against Man City, against Birmingham those days. So I think Eduardo, yeah, you've mentioned him, very, very good. But unfortunately, we wouldn't have him here because he wasn't there for too long. Julio Baptista came in for like 6 months and scored like, I don't know, like 2 hat-tricks or something. He used to be a force, Julio Baptista, but you didn't include him there. I don't know, Adebayo, or is it too much? Is there anyone else we are leaving? Ramsey, Wilshire? Can you have 9 subs as it is these days?
Look, if we have 9 subs, probably I'll go with Ramsey. Ramsey had more perfect performances and consistent performances than Wisha. Wisha was just a talent. Wisha was just a talent that we never really got to see. We knew what he was all about, but we didn't get to see where it could end. Ramsey, I feel like, even if you added him 5 years, was really never going to become, any big better. But Ramsey was decent. You could play him in the pivot, work for you. You could score some goals, and someone dies. Things like that.
you know what the funny thing is? I swear to God, Wales is playing right now, and Ramsey has just scored as soon as you said that. Just check. Wales is playing against Belarus. 2 minutes. Ramsey has just scored, and then you've just literally mentioned him. I was like, what? So I think you need another centre back on the bench as well. Would you have Matsaka, Kolo-Toure, Sylvester,
Staffy?
No, please. In the worst one, we someday we'll do that. We'll do a worst 11 someday.
Yeah, worst 11. But I think it's definitely Kolo. It's definitely Kolo.
Kolo-Toure. You're going to have Kolo-Toure in there. Matsaka was a very good leader, though. That's 2 defenders. That's 4 midfielders. So we are lacking a striker on the bench.
You're lacking a striker? Adebayo.
You put Adebayo there, so we still have spot for
one. Let me tell you something crazy. Look, Van Persie got involved in 190 goals in less than 300 appearances. Good, but I feel like if you have that team, you just need a striker that is going to behave like a striker. I would rather play Adebayo first, and then Van Persie. You can't drop Van Persie to the bench, really.
You cannot drop Van Persie to the bench. That would be a joke. That would be a joke. You're bringing back your managing days of Jenkinson, just as bad as you were those days. Ozil, we haven't put Ozil on the bench yet.
Yeah, but I think Ozil makes it to the bench.
Someone said Aubameyang.
Yeah, look. Would you place Aubameyang ahead of Adebayo?
That's such a hard question, by the way. Aubameyang and Adebayo. No, I'd have Aubameyang in because he has won us things. But Adebayo used to be good. Adebayo used to consistently score 20 goals, 50. But you'd argue Aubameyang does that as well. So I don't even mind what Simon has said about Aubameyang. I wouldn't mind anyone including Aubameyang there. I think he's been that good. Only just last season that he didn't do well, but Adebayo, you can have both of them, but that means you'd have to take out Ozil from that team, which wouldn't be fair. So maybe you drop Cossy's club and then you put Aubameyang. Maybe I don't know. But that would be a good team.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've had some good players down the road, bro. We've had some very, very good players down the road. It's just that. Yeah, it's just that we sold them off, and the team has found itself in that predicament. But because most of these players, they have not been gone. I mean, when they went, we were so close. I mean, the project was close to arriving. Just imagine if these players didn't leave, right? We could have a project. We could have had a project. Maybe that's why Arsene Wenger always says that he doesn't really want to come back. He just wants to be a fan, because it feels like if Mikel is back, and look, just think of Mikel winning a Champions League final. How would Arsene Wenger feel?
Those years I did a research on why Arsenal never won the Champions League, and we were so close so many times, especially 2006, 2008. I think we got to the semi-final, lost by 1 goal. There's a time we lost by away goals that we had to Bayern, to Monaco, so many times. I think those players, if you had to combine those players, the problem is when you had a very, very good attacking line with all Fabregas, Walcott, Van Persie, we did not have good defenders with Semeros, Kulachi.
I think this is the first time, and of course, it's also known clear, but this is the first time we have slightly a balanced Arsenal side. Slight. Look, when you had the likes of Cazorla in midfield, that defense was absolutely stinking.
And then there's a time we had good defenders with Vermaelen, Koscielny, Matsaka, but we did not have good forwards. We had Sanogo, Park Chu-young, Shamak, Bentner.
Someone asked me about a player called, oh my God, I'm forgetting the guy. He's now at Bochum. We did that yesterday. He's at Portugal.
Was a
The guy is
defender?
a striker, bro. He's actually
Former
putting
Arsenal player?
Takuma Asano.
I thought you were about to tell me someone meaningful. Takima-san.
Someone
Oh,
asked me about. Look, listen. Someone asked me about Cossy. Where is Takumi Asano? And it's like,
yeah.
let me get back to you. So the boy is
Rio Miyachi.
Rio Miyaichi, right?
Those will be
And,
included in the worst list.
but you know, Arsenal just did PR, a lot of PR those days. We were just deluded, really.
Yeah, I'll put the team in the chat. The team we have. Before that, again, later on, a couple of years later, we had a very good midfield: Alexis Sanchez, Ozil, Cazorla, but he did not have a good striker. So that has been the problem with us for the last 15 years. When you have this good, we don't have this one. When you have this one, you don't have this one. If you were to throw in, if you had to take Vermaelen and Koscielny to 2007, you would have won a league title if you didn't have the likes of Clichy then. If you had to bring in Aubameyang in 2016, you would have won the Premier League. If you had to take Fabregas now, you would have won the league. Like
16 is it when 16 is it when we failed to add at least 5 million to Suarez?
Yeah, around that time,
Yeah.
very, very painful. Very, very painful.
I just feel like if Suarez joins Arsenal, then
Yeah,
would have been in a stronger position.
yeah. So I've put the full team in the chat. Can just go through it quickly before we end it.
Right. So, guys, I mean, I do love debates. Like I said at the beginning of the video, they always go for long. Look, guys, I mean, Bentina. What are your thoughts? What was your overall perspective on Bentina?
Crazy guy, should never have been a footballer.
One of the things I remember about him is he was asked when he was leaving Arsenal, where do you want to go? And he said, I would love to go to Barcelona or Madrid. That's one of the things I remember about it.
And you're serious. He was not joking, by the way.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't. Because
he was also asked, do you think you're a good player? He said, no, I think I'm the best player. Like, the stories, Bentner, he used to go to clubs and remove his trousers. Like, I'm like, what are you doing, Niklas Bentner? Like, he used to be very, 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 very... He used to score some good goals, but shouldn't have been a footballer.
Jack has asked me, Cossy, how many days do Africans participate in AFCON? I think it's a month. So
It really depends. If you get eliminated after the group stage, you're going to be back after 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a month. The competition will take a month, right? The competition will take a month, and it will be just like any other tournament. It's always just like any other tournament.
So I am so sorry to the people who support Ghana. Any Ghanaians watching this, I'm sorry to any Gabonese players watching, fans watching this. I'm sorry to any Egyptians watching this, but I just need all those things to come so that our players come back.
Leave the Egyptians, really. I mean, it doesn't have to have. It doesn't really have to have El Neni out, right?
I think they'll get further, but Algeria have been really good.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you so much, bro, for coming on. I'll let you rest because today you've really done, many streams. I think this is the second as well.
Yeah, no problem. And it's always fun talking about this. You could even go for 6 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, absolutely. We'll do the worst signings. Arsenal has ever made, and the worst 11. Because look, worst 11. I think we'll put around 7 defenders, right? Because
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. Even goalkeepers, I think that could be a full list. We had a goalkeeper called Matt Pom. He used to be second choice to Almunia and Lehmann. He used to be very free Pom. We'll come to that. Very awful players.
Yeah, but guys, do smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel. I know many people are gonna watch this on replay, so I'll speak to you tomorrow in the morning. I don't know what we're gonna talk about tomorrow in the morning because look, tomorrow is a Sunday. News is gonna be coming in very, very slowly. But of course, Monday the previews are back. Football is coming back next week. Why not? Best content creators in Africa for Arsenal, Cossy and Glenn. And this is Arsenal episodes number 1. We'll make sure that we bring you more of these episodes. Smash a like on the video and we'll speak to you very, very soon.